everyone. This is the Ophthalmology Business Podcast, where we help you develop your ideal practice with the help of other doctors and experts. The topics we cover include marketing, management, leadership, recruitment, HR, mindsets, and more. I'm Sarah Duval, one of the co-hosts of the podcast. Every listener of this podcast is welcome to join the Ophthalmology Business Academy at www.obacademy.org. The membership is on us, and it's our gift to you. Today, I'm excited to talk with Alexa Montesinos from iDocSocial about how iDocSocial is reshaping eye care education. Let's jump in. Good morning, Alexa. How are you today?
Good morning. How are you? I'm doing well.
Good. So I'm really excited for this conversation. Before we jump in, why don't you go ahead and just tell us a little bit about yourself? How did you get into ophthalmology? How did you get to where you are today? Tell me your story.
Sure. So I got into ophthalmology a few years ago, about a decade ago. I was in sales, as a sales rep for gastro company, and I randomly got a call from a recruiter talking about this eye care company and how amazing it was. And it was Alcon at the time when it was Nestle. So I decided to take the job because I love the culture, and I've been in ophthalmology ever since. It's been my work family. I love the physicians, which was interesting because coming from gastro, I never thought I would love a specialty as much as I did for gastroenterology. But I have fallen in love with ophthalmology, fallen in love with the physicians, just the industry, and started off my career as a sales rep, did training, management, marketing, a little bit in between different companies, and a year ago I started my own consulting company, and really predominantly just to work with small startups, discussing, just the key opinion leaders, their professional relations, things like that, as these small startups are trying to break into ophthalmology. So really helping them connect to, the individuals who can help them bring their product to light. And so with that, and just working with some of, the physicians and their projects, we started iDocSocial, and I'm super excited to share with everybody just our vision for iDocSocial, everything we have planned, and it's becoming a very cool project. Was never part of the plan, and sometimes I think that's kind of the best endeavors, is the ones that just fall into place and that you're not looking for or searching for. But it's been fun, and we just have so many exciting things for next year.
Oh, that's awesome. It's so funny how you say that you fell in love with ophthalmology, because I hear that so much. I did too. I've been in this industry for 18 years, I think. And it's really all I know. But I fell in love with it automatically. And, you talk to new people and people who come from other specialties, and everyone says the same thing. And I often joke that once you get into ophthalmology, you don't leave.
No.
You don't
And you
leave.
don't want to. And for good or for bad, it's like a family. So you, as a family, you fight, you go through the highs and you go through the lows together. And but that's what I think is so special about it, is that um it is a big dysfunctional family, and in the best sense. And like you, it's just you don't want to leave. And you'll take all the good and all the bad with it.
Exactly. I have no plans to leave, so
No,
hopefully they
me
won't kick
neither.
me out. Anyway. Okay, so I think how this came about, I think I reached out to you because I
Yes.
saw a post from either directly from iDocSocial on LinkedIn, or it was somebody maybe one of your docs who had shared a post, and I thought, well, that seems really interesting. So I had reached out to you. Um, so because this is a fairly new venture, I think that there's probably a lot of people who don't know what iDocSocial is. So why don't you tell us what is the idea behind it? How did this little project of yours get started?
Sure. So iDocSocial originally started as a service for physicians and for practices for social media. And so, today is one branch of what we're doing and just helping practices, physicians, key opinion leaders have a social share of voice, have their social imprint. But through all this, I remember getting a call from, one of the physicians to say, hey, I think there's something here. And, I was like, okay, well, what are you talking about? What is this? And so they were telling me that they've done, written articles, um, done studies, and for the first time, they're getting feedback and traction on social media posts, and it's the same content. And so we got a couple of physicians together and just brainstorming and realized that the world is changing, and this is a way that physicians, especially medical students, residents, fellows, are obtaining information. So it is a learning tool. Whether you want to accept it or not, people are using it as a learning tool. Um, Physicians and patients. And then also on the opposite side, there is a lot of misinformation out there on social media, especially when it comes to healthcare. We're in ophthalmology, so all we can speak about is eye care, but there is a danger in that misinformation out there. There are a bunch of anti LASIK campaigns that are going on, and there are these holistic medicine individuals that are saying either certain drops, cure some type of eye disease. And
Mm.
unfortunately, people are perception is reality, and the more it becomes in the more it's in your face, the more you start to believe it. And so why not give the voice back to our key opinion leaders and the physicians who have done the studies, done the research, have operated on more than 10 patients,
Right.
and really have the expertise behind it. And so the goal for iDocSocial for this project in 2024 is we have compiled a list of optometrists as well as ophthalmologists. So everything from front of the eye, back in the eye, everything in between. And our goal is really to help, it's twofold, to really help combat a lot of the misinformation that's out there on social media in terms of eye care, and also help eye care innovation. And so we know that, especially for small companies, whether they're looking to sell, their idea, their technology to bigger companies, or they're looking to make an imprint in the field, you need to go where the awareness is, and you need to go where the demand is. And attention is on social media. It is one of the cheapest opportunities to get your message out there without spending, X amount of millions of dollars. And so it's a way for the physicians to share their projects on what they're working on, how much eye care is evolving, and what it could be in the future. And then also help, come back some of the nonsense that's out there. I think we see a lot of social media utilization in other specialties like, dermatology and plastic surgery. I don't think ophthalmology has embraced social media to date. And, I think now is the time where, everybody's, there's billions of people on social media. And so why not embrace it and use it as a way to get education out there?
So you're partnering with or helping physicians to kind of like get ahead of this wave. And I'm not even sure it's really getting ahead of it. It's really just kind of getting on it because ophthalmology is kind of behind it, right?
Yeah.
But to really get out there and to say, wait a minute, there's these so-called influencers who are spreading misinformation and all these people are listening to it. So you're trying to get the physicians really in front of not their peers, but their patients and the general public and being like, giving a little pushback, like, wait a minute, this is not accurate, right? That's
Correct. And
okay.
yeah, and it's their peers, but correct, their patients as well. It's everybody. Um and also some of these influencers are healthcare professionals, but they don't have the expertise. And that's what's the dangerous part of it is that just because you have a title, it really doesn't mean anything. And I know I might get some pushback on saying that, but it's true, and so we know how social media works. It's very much about the algorithm. And unfortunately, you can do a Google it's funny, I say Google search, but that's how people are using Instagram or TikTok. But you do a search for, let's say it's cataract surgery, let's say it's dry eye, whatever the case may be. And 9 times out of 10, the For You page will come up, an influencer's For You page will come up. And so the goal is the more content, medically sound content we have from our physicians using the appropriate hashtags, appropriate keywords, social media is utilizing SEOs to help with that algorithm, that search, the more the noise from that influencer or whoever it is will go down. And so then it becomes an even playing field where, okay, well, yes, somebody is saying that these drops cure cataracts, right? But then we have two other posts showing why people are getting cataract. And yes, it is natural. As you age, it happens. And the different types of surgeries or the IOLs or all the other information that is out there. And so patients can have now more education, and it's coming from a trusted source. And social media is really building a community. And so for the physicians, we've seen it now where another good thing about social media is that the world is flat when it comes to social media. You're not so constricted to your neighborhood or the people that you know. And so it's an exciting time to get information out there where you're building community, you're getting education out there in such a cost-effective way.
Hmm. So what does this look like? Let's say I'm working in a practice, right? Whether I'm the doctor or not. What do I do I reach out to you and you're helping me create content, or how does iDocSocial work exactly?
Yeah, so for practice, everybody has a different philosophy on how they want to utilize social media. Some people do have um, are hiring social media coordinators. And so sometimes what we do is we'll work with them to help, strategize on the content, what should you be posting, giving some ideas. Some practices we do it completely. We'll work with either a tech or an admin, and they'll just give us some raw footage, and we'll kind of mix it up and make it fun, and everything in between. And so it really just depends on what the practice is looking for. I think a couple of years ago people thought social media was just posting an image of an individual with the glasses and say, okay, it's buy one get one free, or
Right.
happy President's Day. And that's really not social media. That's just putting a photo up and seeing what what happens. So
Right.
social media is intended to be social and engaging. And so for practices, I encourage practices to show who they are, to show, just the individuals, how fun it is to work there. Because from a practice perspective, it can help attract talent, as people are looking at, oh, this is a fun place to work. I want to be part of that company culture. And then from the patient standpoint, practices can look at it as, how are they educating the patients? And so when the patients already come in and, let's say it's a premium practice, their patients are already educated on the different options. And so it's an education tool. It's a way to build community from a practice standpoint, and then from an education standpoint, from what we're doing for our peer-to-peer education, it's, helping the eye care community keep up to date as to new technology, new ideas on, surgical procedures, best practices, and just everything in between.
So I guess I'm sort of trying to wrap my head around this. So you can work with a practice and help them create content, but then you kind of partner with some of the people who are extremely social to begin with. Like, I don't know if I can mention any names or not, but there are certain physicians who really seem to understand the social game. They're everywhere. They're, creating lots of great content on their own. So those are the people that you're sort of partnering with to help get them out to the forefront for peer-to-peer education, but also to sort of become an influencer, if you will, to the general public, right? To really give that pushback on misinformation. So it's kind of twofold. Is that accurate?
Exactly. So
Okay.
anything that's all that peer-to-peer education content starting January 1st, we have partnered with a lot of these content creators,
Mhm.
these physicians. So every day we will have content out there. And so we we will be partnering with those physicians to create truly medically sound education
Mhm.
for peer-to-peer as well as physician to patient. And so every day on the iDocSocial sites, you will hear from one of the content creators on just different topics. So it could be, January's Glaucoma Awareness Month. And so there'll be a lot of glaucoma content that month coming out from iDocSocial. And on the opposite side, we do have a sector of our business where we partner with certain practices and just help them with their social media strategy.
Are you looking for more KOLs to join and to be
Yeah.
part of this?
So it's been a crazy month since we've started just announcing and partnering with the content creators. I think every day, which is exciting, that inbox has a message from a physician saying, "We want to partner. We love this initiative," and so we are open to collaborating with other physicians. We have a medical editor, Dr. Priya Matthews. She's out in Sarasota, so she reviews the content that's going out there, again, to make sure it's medically sound. And yeah, we are open to content creators that, are excited about maybe a research project that they're working on, or, something that is a true passion project of them. So we are accepting new content creators. We will be having guest creator host as well. And so that's going to be exciting. Every month we will also be having different contests for iDocSocial. So just launching, hey, make sure you tag if you see a post that's exciting, so it could be a best disease state post, and we'll be awarding some cool prizes. And so everything that we do is going to be around social media. We already have a couple of industry supporters that are helping with the mission, which is exciting. And yeah, we'll be at meetings as well, generating content in different ways. And so what's exciting about some of the physicians that we're working on, they're really creative. And so nothing that they want to do is, your traditional, verbatim, this is the data. They all want to do it in a creative way. And so there are already some exciting ideas on how we get content out there. And it's really, it's just really exciting time to just partner with these KOLs. I feel like a lot of this has been a passion project for them because they have seen how much of an impact it can make on the profession in general. And just so to see them excited and motivated to create engaging content, which I think is really important, is just exciting. And it's more than anything, it's just fun.
I'm excited. I mean, obviously, being in the industry, I'm going to look at it differently than your regular Joe Schmo patient, but I think this is really exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing who you bring on board and what they create. And so, is there any social media platform that is hands off, or are you doing it all?
No, we're gonna do it on. So we know that the audience is different, So LinkedIn is predominantly a lot of peer-to-peer. We've seen that. It's crazy that, we had a physician post just a technique the other day, and within 48 hours had over 20,000 impressions in 48 hours, which
Oh,
is
which platform
amazing.
was that? Was that LinkedIn?
It was on LinkedIn.
Wow.
And so, yeah, I mean, so you see how the audience is different, but then what's interesting is I've heard a lot of the physicians are getting some patients send them messages on LinkedIn as well. And so LinkedIn, I think, is one of the social media platforms that is very underutilized. I know LinkedIn is making a lot of changes for 2024, and they want to really get some engagement. They're working on with their algorithm. I have always said if I would ever to be an influencer, which I will not, but I would love to be an influencer on LinkedIn. And just because it's about a profession, and I think LinkedIn is doing some exciting things for 2024. And then on the opposite side, you see the Instagram, I think, is very popular with both professionals as well as patients. I think a lot of patients are using Instagram as their search engine. I know personally I do. I do it with there's no hiding. I get Botox, I get fillers, I do all that.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Me
So
too.
I mean, there is no hiding. I'm from
There's
Miami.
no
It is what
shame
it,
in
it
our
is.
game.
No, it is what it is. But it's funny because I'll have a friend of mine saying, "Well, my injector is the best. You need to go to my person." And if they don't have an Instagram, there is no way I'm letting them touch my face. I'm like, I need to see their portfolio. I need to see what they do. And so from injections or anything of the aesthetics, that's where I look at. And then, for my family, restaurants, I'm like, okay, well, I need to see their pages. I need to see what, how does the food look like, or how are people dressing when they go there? And so I think from a patient perspective and from an audience perspective, Instagram is extremely important tool because it's a good way for the physicians to showcase, hey, I'm an expert in my field. I do research, I love the latest technology. For a patient, if you're coming into my practice, if you're coming to my office, you're going to get best in class treatment. You're going to get, all this. So I think, Instagram is really cool for that. And then you have TikTok. And I think TikTok, from an ophthalmology standpoint, cataract refractive, that patient is not on TikTok, but their caregivers are. We're seeing it now for LASIK and refractive, the Evo ICL. The Jonas Brothers posted their own TikTok. And so we've seen a lot of influencers utilize TikTok in practices. I have a couple practices. I truly, truly encourage them to work with those micro influencers within their community. And I think people think, oh, well, they have to have millions of followers. But no, if it's a prominent person in your community and they have 20,000 followers, you know, and you notice they're wearing glasses, maybe, there's something that you guys can work with that influencer, and get them engaged and, utilize their audience. And so I tell people, I'm like, okay, well, your practice or you as a physician only have 500 followers. All right, well, partner with micro influencers, partner with other people and do a collab so that your audience, grab their audience. So, social media is very exciting. It's like I said, it's a very flat world. And I just think it's time that people, utilize it for what it can be. That's where the attention is. And if you're not going where the attention is, unfortunately, in about a couple of years, you'll be a non-existent.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I was thinking to myself, these practices that just don't want to embrace it, I think they're really going to be sad and missing out in a
A
couple,
hundred,
few short
a
years, really.
100%. And if one of the things I always see is that when people are like, "Oh, but this has worked for so long." Well, yeah, I mean, people used to ride horses, and that's how they got from A to Z, and then the car came. And so if we were always in that mentality of, okay, yeah, but this is fine, then
This is the
you
way it's
wouldn't be.
always been done.
Yeah. And so then it's, okay, well, that's fine, but either, the ship is sailing. So either you want to come on and have a good time and be engaging, or you can stay in no man's land, and unfortunately you'll be forgotten. And so that's what I tell people. I'm like, it's fine, but the clock is ticking. And so either you want to be on the horse and carriage, or do you want to have the new Ferrari. So it's totally up to you on how you want to get to your destination.
Isn't it so funny how these people who embrace innovation, right? They embrace innovation for the sake of their patients, don't want to embrace this sort of innovation. They want to stick to, I don't even, the yellow pages aren't a thing anymore, but they just want to stick to word of mouth,
Right. And
just,
that's, yeah, and I'm not saying word of mouth doesn't work. Listen, word of mouth, having a referral is probably one of the greatest,
oh, absolutely. And I'm not
acknowledgments.
knocking that.
Right. But I mean, why not go for more? And it, when we're looking at, just social media for education, think about it. We used to, the newspaper was the end all be all, where it's like you would announce, an engagement on a newspaper,
Mhm,
and it was, everybody would keep it. And so, and now people are announcing their engagements on social media. And
mhm.
so it's, everything evolves. And I just think it's about time that we as an industry evolve and, have fun with it, get content out there that is truly engaging. It's not, hey, this is the photo,
Mhm.
these are some words, have a ball. No, let's hear from the physicians. Let's hear from the physicians what they're doing, what they're researching, what they're studying, new technology. And there, you can have engaging content that is informative. It doesn't always have to be that dance. And I think that's a bit misconception that people think about social media, is that they think, oh, well, no one's going to take me seriously. I'm not
I
going to
have to
do
go
that.
on and I have to go on there and be silly, and I'm not going to do
Yeah,
that. You don't
and it's
have
like,
to do that.
no, you don't. Like, there are some amazing um podcast hosts that, I hear, and I get so much information from them because they'll get their entire podcast, they'll cut it up in bits and pieces, and every day, you just get a little bit of information out there. And so there's a lot of education that I get, words of wisdom, motivation, things like that from social, and just 60-second segments. And so I think people are bucketing social media as just for entertainment. But there's a whole education aspect out there that is totally underutilized.
Absolutely. Well, I just, I don't know if people can hear it in your voice, but since we're seeing each other, I can see on your face just how excited this makes you. And I love it. And
Yeah.
I personally am really excited to watch how this goes and how this grows. Oh my gosh, I'm
You
so
know
happy
why?
for you.
Well, because I think coming from industry for so long, I was working on either one product or one disease state, things like that. And so it was, talking to a physician about, okay, either, how do we make this product better? How, are you going to utilize it? Not. And now just working with, some of these physicians and just, seeing a different side of them. um it's like I said, and at the end of the day, it's fun. And totally, iDocSocial might not be everybody's cup of tea, and that's totally fine too. But it's just so much fun working with some of these physicians and just hearing their ideas, and it's just a good time. It's a good way to get education out there in a different, more modern way. So yeah, it's every day when I'll get a message from somebody saying, "Hey, how about we do this idea?" Or, Academy or ASCRS is coming up. How about we do, this or, a scavenger hunt with selfies, and it's just the different things that it's just like, "Oh my gosh, yes, yes, yes." And so
Are you going to go to the ASCRS meeting in
yes, yes,
Boston?
yes. So we'll be there.
Okay.
iDocSocial will be an exhibitor at ASCRS. And so we're excited. Like I
Oh,
said, any of the content that comes out from iDocSocial is not going to be your traditional, reporting or hey, ABC, these are the facts. There's gonna be a twist to it. And it's just exciting. And like I said, at the end of the day, it's just fun. And I want to keep it that way. And that's what's important to me is that this has become just a fun project with some of these doctors. And I don't want to lose that aspect of it.
well, I think that I work for ASCRS. So I will obviously be at the meeting. So if there's a selfie scavenger hunt, I want in on it.
Let's do it. Let's do
Okay.
it. And so, well, that's funny because one of the things, we're working with industry on how, everything that we do, we want to make it all, social media driven. And so we're like, all right, there's a talk. Like, let's document it, right? Like send a selfie, tag iDocSocial, tag the companies, tag the physicians, like show people how fun and engaging the meetings are, show them how fun engaging your practice is. And so that's that again, that all that fills my bucket, and that, nothing that we do is going to be vanilla. We're going to have sprinkles as chocolate, all the flavors. And it's like I said, it's just going to be fun. It's going to be engaging. It's going to be educational, and all of the above. So I'm excited for 2024. I know a lot of the physicians are, and I just can't wait to share just with everybody some of the content that we're working on. Our first official content will be dropped January 1st. And then, every day after that. But we are starting to put a little things out there, as some physicians are already getting anxious and excited. They're like, "Hey, I just did this. Let's put it in now." And so again, that's what motivates me, and it's just like, okay, well, let's just see how far this can go. And yeah, we're excited.
I love it. Well, listen, I am so in support of you in this. I'm so glad that we got connected. I think this is
Yes.
fantastic. Can't wait to see how this evolves and where you go with it. Um, God, I'd love to have you back on maybe down the road once this is taken off a little bit more, talk about it again. I think it's just so important and just it's fun. I love fun. So I'm here for it, girl.
Me too. Me too. And like I said, I mean, the ship is sailing, so you can join us, or,
Come on
or
by.
wave,
Right.
it's
Oh my
totally
gosh.
fine. But yeah, no, I'm excited and we'll definitely have to connect.
Yes.
You know, maybe we partner with you guys on an interesting segment.
I think this is
Let's
happening. It's
yeah,
going to
no,
happen.
I mean for sure it's gonna happen. It's just how, what, how it's gonna be, then, the sky's the limit. So,
Definitely.
like I said, we have some creative folks on our team and sometimes a little bit too creative, but yeah, it's exciting. So looking forward to everything that is going to come next year.
Good. So, Alexa, tell everybody then how to find you, where to find you, how to connect.
Sure. So, you can find us on Instagram at iDocSocial. We are also on LinkedIn, iDocSocial, Twitter or X now, again, iDocSocial, and Facebook. Also, TikTok. So everything, our handles are all the same, iDocSocial, and just look for us. We will be doing some collabs with a lot of these key opinion leaders and just again exciting things are happening in 2024.
I love it. All right, everybody, you heard it here first. 2024, the ship is sailing. Get your tickets now. Don't be left behind.
Don't be left behind. I mean, you can, but you're just going to be on a horse and carriage, and
Yeah, you're going to be
it just
missing
might take you a
all the
while.
fun on the iDoc
We'll
social cruise.
already be at the party by the time you get there.
Oh, this has been a fun conversation. Thank you so much for your time today.
No,
And
thanks for having
I'll be
me.
cheering you on there, watching how iDoc Social grows.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alexa. Bye.
Bye.
Equimarketing, your key to a stellar online reputation. Book your free marketing strategy meeting with Ryan today. Visit www.obacademy.org/MSM/Ryan and take charge of your online presence.
I also want to take a moment to thank our listeners. We appreciate each and every one of you. We cannot do what we do without you. If you like our podcast, kindly share it with your friends and on social media. Also, please don't forget to write a review on iTunes or Google Play. Your reviews will help other doctors and practice owners find us. Till we meet again, wishing all of you an amazing week ahead.